Hi everybody and welcome to Love Speaks Love. I'm Denise, your host, and my beautiful guest today is Marion Amael Hobbs. Welcome, sweetheart.
Thank you.
I'm just going to double check. I'm sure we are live because it always is, but I'm just gonna do the do on Facebook and double check that it's all in order.
Check
And
myself.
I tagged you as well. I don't know if you want to share it anywhere, but I did tag you, so you should be able to find that. Check that it's all
Wait, why isn't this? Oh my gosh, technology and me don't get along either. Wait, hold on.
Apologies, everyone, that I'm right on time, but according to some people in the clock, it might be almost 15 minutes late. If anybody wishes to share it anywhere, that would be amazing.
Okay, I'm going to share it on my page. Okay. Oh, how weird. It's so weird to see myself. Okay. It's shared. I shared my thing.
Wonderful. I'm going to share it to my pages as well. I've shared it to a couple of groups. And one more thing, and then we are good to go. There. Okay, so people are starting to gather. Thank you, everyone who's joining us. So, yeah, we were actually just talking about time and the difficulties of the linear clock in this wondrous, go with the flow kind of age that I'm certainly in. I think we're both in.
Yeah.
Okay. So I normally start with a little heart-to-heart connecting my heart to my guest and the people watching on the replay. So just going to do that, breathing out anything that we're ready to let go of, anything of the day so far or the week, and breathing in love. Breathing love into our beautiful, beautiful hearts. Connecting my heart to yours, Marion, and to everybody watching. Thank you. And extending our heart awareness out a little bit further to the heart of Gaia. And as we do that, feeling Gaia's love, her recognition of us, and her gratitude for all that we are and all that we do. Connecting in with the new earth templates that emanate out from Gaia's beautiful crystalline diamond heart. Connecting in with the crystalline matrix of energy. And as we do that, we can call into our bodies any crystalline energies that would be of benefit to us just now. And I'm also feeling to ask Gaia for the energies of anything at all that our bodies would benefit from, be that nutrients, elements, proteins, amino acids, whatever. So calling in that energy, feeling it whooshing into our bodies, into every cell. And extending our heart awareness out to the sun. Feeling those solar waves, those solar frequencies moving into every cell of our bodies. And extending our heart awareness out now to Source Creator. Knowing that Source energy is moving deep into our cells. feeling all of our hearts beating as one, as we sit in this one unified field of love. And I invite you, if you're in a position to do so, and if you feel to, just say to your beautiful heart, and perhaps placing one or both hands there, saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. And emanating that beautiful love energy out to every heart on the planet, to all the trees, the waters, all of the creatures, all of the beings, the elementals, the beings of inner earth. And opening your eyes whenever you're ready. And first of all, I see that Marianne Savino is there. And Marianne, I just want to thank you. Because you and Marianne, I think, were on a panel together, and she sent me one of the videos that you'd put up online. She felt that there would be a good connect there, and she felt correct in that. Yeah, I think I'd also around the same time seen you on Light Language Lounge and kind of clocked you there. I think it was the first time that you went. And I was like, hello, I know you. And then when I watched your video, I was really blown away, because some things that I do with light language activations, especially some of the things that I do with my hands and my body, you were doing, and I'd not really seen other people doing that. And especially what got my attention was you tapping frequencies into your body. And I do this a lot when I'm doing work on my physical body. I do this a lot, but I'd not actually seen anyone else kind of do that. So yeah, that was another nudge for me to reach out and connect with you. And we had a chat a couple of weeks ago, and it was just super easy. Like, I think we talked for a couple of hours, and I know we could have carried on for a couple more hours. So yeah, it's really lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for being a guest.
Yes, thank you for reaching out and inviting me. And yeah, I was on the Light Language panel for the New Life Expo with Marianne Servino, and I think Judy Satori and a couple other people. And it was a last minute thing, and I wasn't expecting to be invited, and I got invited. I had no idea what to expect, and it was great. There were like 3 other people on there, and I apologize for not remembering everyone's name that was on it, but they were all amazing to connect with. And then Marianne reached out to me. She was like, "Oh my gosh, you have to connect, with Denise." And then I did the Light Language Lounge, and I do remember seeing you on there. And yeah, I started to kind of, put myself out there more. So, because for the last couple of years, I've been working full time and not really having time to devote to all of this. So yeah, so it was, and then the moment we, talked and connected, I felt that connection right away. I was like, yes, this is amazing. I love it. So yeah, I really have enjoyed the last couple of months have been since I left my job and left my hometown and came here. It's been a really amazing journey, because I'm able to focus more on what it is that I want to, give out to the world, so yeah, I'm just letting it all kind of unfold. I'm not trying to control it or, just really going with it, being more in the moment than I ever have been. So yeah,
that's amazing. And it's so interesting when you're doing this kind of work and it is your primary job. I remember my Reiki master saying to me, it puts a really different energy on it. And in a way, she wasn't recommending it, because it does change what you're doing. Because really, we do this work to be of service. But then when you know that you have bills to pay or whatever, it can put a different energy on it. And it'll bring up all our stuff that we might have on, lack or whatever it is to work on. It'll be it'll be present for us, which is amazing. And one thing that I've found, especially of late, if you're going somewhere with an intention of, if I do this, I'll get clients from it, or how can I get clients this week? It immediately pushes things away. And I'm really learning this about flow, about the trust. And I've been doing this. It's interesting, we're on this. I wasn't planning to speak about this, but I've been working on my abundance and everything around that. So receiving, flow, everything really for so many years. But one of the biggest things that I realized of where I was internally was I was still very much in survival. And you can't necessarily be fully in your thrive while you're in survival. Like those are just juxtapositions. They're not kind of in sync with each other. So a lot before Christmas, when that really dropped in, a lot of work that I've been doing has been relating to that. It's been the survival program, and it's such a deep one, and it seems that it's very multi-layered. So, I remove programs, I see those programs going, I bring in fresh frequencies to replace them, and you think, oh yeah, that's it, that's done now. And then it's like, oh no, not yet, there's more layers. But the flow is the biggest thing for me. It's like not going in with that kind of masculine energy of trying to make it happen, trying to push it, trying to force it, but just allowing it.
I had a huge amount. I grew up, we grew up, or I grew up with my mom being poor, very poor. And if you wanted something, you had to go without something. And so I had that huge program of survival. And I did a lot of, living paycheck to paycheck. And I had a huge amount of financial fear around, I think the biggest thing for me was when I had, in 2007, I got into a car wreck, and that's actually when I had my near death. And here I was, first time I'd had, this brand new car, all this stuff. And I was like, I was paying my bills, I was making it work. And I get into this wreck, and all of a sudden I've got, no medical insurance, all this stuff. I'm going into debt, all these things. I spiraled. And I realized, this huge fear came up around survival. And so the last couple of years, I've really faced the financial fear, the fear around money, and the fear of having money, even, because someone's going to take it away. And so I had to clear a lot of my own past beliefs, a lot of my own traumas around it, and trust that, that I was going to be supported no matter what, and so I just kept doing the things that were in front of me. And, every time, something needed to be taken care of, it was like, okay, I got to pay this. I don't really have a choice. But then I would find that money would come back in the craziest, weirdest ways, and so when I moved and I left my job, I had prepared actually for an entire year. I did give myself a year to prepare for this. And so I just allowed and trusted that this was all going to fall into place. And I knew I wasn't going to have to like push for clients or, push for any of this stuff. It's all just going to come in the way that it comes. I had to take away the expectation of what it was going to look like, because we have that idea of it's going to look like this, it's going to look like this, it's going to be this. And when I realized that, if I'm looking for it in a specific manner, I'm going to miss what's actually happening there. So I began to go, okay, I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how I'm going to get, this here or that here. And, I just need to pay attention to the synchronicities. I need to be more into the now moment, because when I am too in my past or in my future, I'm not paying attention to what's happening here and now. And anytime I would get into financial fear, or I would get into like, oh my gosh, this isn't happening the way I'd like, you're having expectations, and that's okay. That's normal. I would honor my feelings. I wouldn't bypass them. I would honor them and just say, just release. And then I would do, my yoga or my meditation, and I'd be doing breath of fire, and I'd be doing fists of anger. And I'd be like, like inside my mind, like yelling, like, I don't know what it looks like. I'm really frightened, and then by the time I was done, it'd be gone. And I'd be like, oh, and then next thing I know, boom, 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 boom. The thing that I was, afraid of, like, or the thing that was, I didn't want to do, all of a sudden I was able to, okay, yeah, now I need to do this and I need to do that. And, and it would just flow. So it was a big step for me, like to kind of jump more into this field, I guess you could call it. And create a website. And, I had tons of fear around that. And, it was amazing what it brought up for me. But I just, whatever came up, I felt it, I transmuted it, I healed it, and just kind of have kept going. And I've given myself, 2021 to really fully step into all the things that I've been already embodying for the last couple of years, but now I'm fully stepping into that. And I mean, this process has not been comfortable, and it has not been, all love and light, but I recognize it as growth and expansion, and things are going to come up, and this is just the path that I'm choosing right now. And I feel very supported. My mom is fully behind me. My friends are all behind me. My old boss, when I left my job, she totally understood why I was doing what I was doing, because for 4.5 years I was juggling kind of everything. And they were there when I first began to like go through my journey with light language. And so I even had my work and all, like this salon full of women supporting me through all of this. I mean, it was really incredible. And I had so many people going, we believe in you. And, and I believe in myself. I mean, it took me a long time to get to that point of empowerment of like, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can do. I've spent the last, however many years working on myself to heal myself to the point where, I am no longer the wounded healer. I am now, I'm here, and I'm doing this thing, and I want to be able to empower other people and shine that light on other people, So, I mean, this journey for me has been amazing. It hasn't been comfortable, but it's been really amazing, and I wouldn't trade it at all for anything,
You mentioned earlier that you had a near-death experience in your car. Mm-hmm. Was that like the start of your, do you want to share about that? You don't have to, but
I'll share. So in 2007, I believe it was either 2006 or 7, but I'm pretty sure it was 2007 because I was almost 30. About 6 months before the accident actually happened, I kept having these visions of me getting into this car accident, and every time I died. And I was like, this isn't, no, I can't, how can I change this? How can I change this? And I was driving one day and I heard someone say Marion loud in my car. I was like, what, who's that? And I'm driving, and I remember I was driving past the Wells Fargo on River Street in Santa Cruz. And I was like, I almost had to pull over because I was like, who just said my name? What, and I instantly knew there was no way I was going to change what was going to happen. And so, but I was like, I don't want to die. I just don't want to die. And so the day that it happened, I remember, I was in the car with a ex-boyfriend of mine, and we were driving, and I look at him and I say, I don't know if we should be driving down the street. And it was right around the corner from my house. And he was like, why not? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think we should be driving down the street. He's like, well, turn around. I'm like, I can't. We just got to go. We're running late. And so we come to the stop sign, and And I'm looking and I'm looking, you know, and I see this guy motion for me to go, like it's okay to go, because there was no stop. I had a stop sign, but the other oncoming traffic did not. And so I go, and next thing I know, here's this huge truck, this Mack truck.
Wow.
And my eyes must have, you know, just gotten this big. And my first thought was, this is the moment. And I hit the gas, and I was aiming for the pole. I was aiming for the power pole. So I'm like, how am I going to get out of this? There's no way I can get out of this. This is a small street. There's cars everywhere. It's a Sunday. It's, you know, there's people everywhere. And next thing I know, it was this loud boom, and I had hit my head, you know, and all the glass blew out, and the car got sent down the street, I guess swirling. I don't know. I guess I did a couple 360s. And I remember coming to a stop, and everything had stood still. And I went somewhere, and I got asked if I wanted to live or die. And you know, at that point in time, I was a little depressed, and I was kind of, you know, thinking, I don't know if I want to live, you know. But when I got asked the question, it was, no, I want to live. I've got things I've got to do. And so I came to, and what's interesting is I actually just a couple nights ago had a PTSD moment where this particular scene came up for me, and I didn't realize I'd kind of buried the moment. But when I came to, the first breath I took was new. It was new life. It was hurt, and it burned. And I just remember thinking to myself, is this real? Like, what just happened, you know? And they cut me out of my car with this machine, you know. I had been crumpled up, you know, into, you know, there was metal sticking everywhere. And the next thing I really remember is being put into a helicopter, and they were airlifting me. And so after that accident, I didn't break anything. I fractured my skull. I had a brain injury. My eardrums blew out, so I couldn't hear for a couple months. And it was kind of this spiral that happened. And I ran as fast because it blew everything open. It was like, you have abilities, you want them all, here you go. And it was like, boom. And it was like, I can't handle this. And I felt like I wasn't even in the body I was supposed to be in. And so I ran, I spiraled for a couple of years. And it wasn't until a few years ago, I was reading a book, and they had mentioned a walk-in. And all of a sudden I see, you know, what she's describing. And I'm like, my whole body, it was like, oh, that makes so much sense. And so I called my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I think my car accident, when I died, I think I switched places with something. And it was this really emotional, I'm even getting goosebumps talking about it. It was this really emotional moment. And all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, I was adjusting for the last however many years to being in this body. And I had lost lots of different chunks of memory as well from being in this accident. So it was like, you know, I couldn't remember my past details of a lot of things. I knew I had done things, but I couldn't recall exactly what they were. It was almost as if I didn't have an emotional attachment to a lot of things. I didn't recognize people, but I kind of knew that I knew them. And it was this whole process of just not knowing who I was and trying to figure it out. And so when I finally had figured out, like, that's what happened, like, nobody had told me. I didn't watch any show or anything. I didn't even know, like, I hadn't even heard anything about walk-ins, but my mom said, absolutely, yes, I agree 100% that that's what happened. And that's when it was like, whoa, my own mother is validating this for me,
Wow.
And so that's 2007 was like, I look back at it now and it was like, you need to wake up. You're about to go on a journey. You need to be there. You need to do this. So, 2010, 2011 was this like struggle of like coming back home. And then, 2012, when everybody, kind of a lot of people have had the thing that happened in 2012, was just, this snap, into, okay, I need to wake up. I got to go on a mission. I had tried to not go on that mission, and they were like, my team was kind of like, no, 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 you're going to do this. And it was like, ooh, resistance, resistance, resistance. And finally I was like, okay, I can't resist anymore. This is what I'm here to do. Show me the way. And that's when I found Reiki, and I was introduced to Reiki. And that's, and then I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? I've never heard of this, and so that's kind of where all this started, really, was, for me, it was the getting into energy work and stuff was in 2012. And but it took those years between 2007 and 2012. It was this like huge walk for me into the shadow. I mean, it was deep into the shadow, and facing all the trauma and facing all the darkest parts of myself that I tried to hide from. And man, I knew I had to dive in, and so up until from 2012 until now has been this incredible journey of stepping into me. And I don't know, it's been really interesting for me to recognize, like, I grieved the others, the soul that I had switched places with. I actually grieved the loss of that. But I believe in a motorcycle. See, that's not the first accident. And a motorcycle accident I had a couple of years ago, which was another touch on death. I believe that the original soul came back, and now I'm braided. So I'm braided with this energy now. So I have a combined energy going on. And a lot of people, and I don't really talk about this a lot out, to everyone, because so many people think it's weird, or they misunderstand it, or like, how can your soul switch with another body? And, or how can souls switch like that? And it's like, well, it happened. I don't know the mechanics of it. All I know is that that's what happened. And this is what I'm working with now. And it has been amazing and beautiful for me to recognize that I had that moment of switching places with something else. And then now I'm working as a team inside of me. It's really, it's hard to put in words how it feels. And I hope that anybody that's had this experience knows that that it's uncomfortable. And when you begin to work with it and you come into flow with it, it can be an amazing team. Yeah. So that was my near death, and that was what ended up coming out of it. And I've seen why I've touched on death so many times, because that wasn't, like I said, that wasn't the first time. I've had a couple, and but because of all of that, that's what opened me. That's why I'm here right in this moment, in this now moment. And that's why I have all the things that I have. I needed to be cracked wide open, and heal, and and see all this stuff, so I could help other people going through this process, or at least to let people know you're not alone. So yeah, I haven't really talked about it publicly like this, so it's and it feels really good to finally talk about it.
Wow, thank you. I appreciate that you're doing that here. Wow, there's so much so much to that. Like I could feel so much of that as you were sharing it. Like there were so many points that I was like getting big shivers, and you know, now the walk-in thing is really interesting. I think I first heard about walk-ins, something that Doreen Virtue touched on when I did her Angel Intuitive course in 2005. She was kind of looking at soul family groups. So she had certain divisions with that. And walk-ins is one of them. So that was where I first heard about that it was like a pre-birth contract. It's not like someone forces their way into your body when you're vulnerable. It's not like that at all in my feeling. Um, and that there can be a soul swap, as you say, and I think that's really interesting that you felt the original soul come back, and braiding. I've heard of that before as well. And I wonder if for some people, and I think I asked you this when we spoke off air first time, I think for some people it might feel like a walk-in, but it's actually another aspect of themselves. So the same soul, but maybe how can I put this into words? Like I feel we have many multidimensional aspects all going on at the same time, and that we resonate with some more than others. But if the energy of one drops in quite quickly, then that could feel quite a sudden and a different feeling of ourselves in our body. But I know that that feels different from what you experienced. And the reason why I bring that up is when I was in Byron and I was hit by the car when I was riding my bike, I didn't lose consciousness at all, and I wasn't badly injured. But there was something that happened to me in that time, and I shifted this big thing of energy from deep in my belly, this like mass of knotted up there that was all kind of woven into the fabric of my being, that would have been, I think, really quite hard to release. But I released it through a scream. I was pretty much on the bonnet of this car, and this guy was looking, I 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 was into a scream, and it was that scream. Oh, something just happened to my sound. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Yeah, I can. That was weird because you said I was looking and then it kept repeating over and over and over and over and over again. And I was like, oh, interesting. But now it just stopped. So you're good.
That's weird. Like it's stopped coming, it's coming through my headphones and my microphone. It's not saying that those things are there, and nothing has changed setting. Let me just, all right, I'll take these off because I can't hear with these on there. Yeah, interesting. I don't know what that's about, but that's interesting timing.
Yeah.
But what I feel actually happened at that point is that part of my higher self, I don't think I had a soul swap, but I think another aspect of me kind of dropped in. And people where I was working who were very kind of tuned in were like, your energy's different. Like, I can't put my finger on what it is, but your energy's different. And I don't feel that it was a walk in. Like, I don't personally for myself. I recognize that, oh, it's gone back to.
Okay, I can hear you. I can totally hear you.
How very strange. I shall think about that when I'm not live on air and try and work that one out. Yeah, something about speaking. Yeah, anyway, speaking through me. Yeah, I don't feel that it was a separate soul coming in. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's what this message is. But something happened, something shifted, and I feel that it was more of me that kind of came in, but with a bit of a, you know, a bit of a push kind of thing. Yeah, that's really interesting.
So I've had the experience as well of embodying aspects of myself, um, uh, having that same feeling of something dropping in, like boom, it's like, okay, whoa. That's how I became connected to several aspects of myself over the last couple of years. And I've embodied them, but they are like three of them, in fact. One of them is masculine and very smart. And it's interesting because I feel very connected to him, and he is way more sciencey than I am. And so, but he's the one that's the aspect of myself that's come in and helped me kind of understand more of like metaphysics or physics in general, and kind of helped me a lot, actually. And then there's another. There is an aspect of myself that is that I saw on another timeline, and she looks exactly identical, but with different tattoos. Completely, almost similar placement, but different. And then there's another aspect that is more of a warrior. She's female warrior aspect that I brought in, and I believe that's one of the from the Sirius system that I've connected with. So I have felt various things drop in at certain times, and you're right about it's not sometimes we need a good like a kind of a snap or a jar into that, having that come in. I've had that happen a couple times. So yeah, I mean, sometimes I don't always know either. I'm like, okay, so what's happening here? But I just trust that, like with the walk-in, it is a contractual agreement. And that was what I understood, was that the agreement was made. And even when you're bringing in aspects of yourself or connecting to aspects of yourself, that's also a contractual agreement as well. And I just trust that this is all happening for my highest good. And I haven't felt bad or terrible about any of it. I've had people try to tell me that what's happening isn't good or is, I've had a few teachers tell me that what I was doing wasn't right. And I was just, like, why? Well, it's just not right. Well, can you explain to me why? It was all because they didn't understand. And that's when I began to realize that, oh, when people don't understand things, that's when they tell you that it's bad or it's not right. And so I had to really kind of strike out on my own. I didn't have anyone telling me, what was necessarily happening to me. I was like, I don't know what's happening to me, and but I paid attention to the signs and the synchronicities and the things that I was led to. And whether it be through a book or through a song or through a dream, I just began to pay attention and realize that I was guiding myself the whole time to all these answers, and that it was nothing, it wasn't something big outside of myself. It was all inside, and it was myself leading myself on this journey, and yeah, it's been yeah, it's been interesting. That's all I can really say about all that. But I hope anybody going through it, just knows, that they're not alone in all of it, and that, yeah, I guess that's why I wanted to share it, just to let people know.
And I feel that it's sometimes to take your energy to a place quickly that you wouldn't be able to do if you were doing that on your own as the human with with that particular soul group. It's kind of like an evolutionary, like, or an ascension, like, oh, what's the word? Massive acceleration, and that you'd be able to get from here to here like that, rather than it just, being a more slow kind of process to there.
Yeah, you get launched.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like I got launched, and I always give the description of like, I'm stuck across like a meteor flying through the sky, through the cosmos, and just going, trying to hold on, and it's just like going, oh my gosh, what's happening? Because I literally feel like, someone's just like, and just boom. And all I can do is like, I just got to hold on. And so that's what I do. I just hold on and just take the journey, and I do ask for breaks though. I've gotten very accustomed to being like, okay, this is enough. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes myself has other plans. But it's gotten easier for me over the last year or so. I'm not nearly as worn out as I was, but I feel like this gigantic launch, these things that were meant to fast track me. I feel like I finally don't have to, touch on death anymore. Like I don't need any more accidents or
Nice.
things, I don't have to have traumatic events anymore. And so it's nice. I'm like, oh, thanks guys. No more traumatic events, please. So yeah, it's good.
When you had your Reiki attunement, and I've been trying to actually fully find the science, whatever it is to do with having a Reiki attunement, as to what actually happens in your body. I know that when I received mine, I know that my palm chakras are activated, all the little chakras on the tips of your fingers are activated. And I had this beautiful feeling of coming home. And it was like, oh, this is what I'm here for. I've waited, 36 years for this. And finally, this is it. I'm kind of on track. And some people have very profound experiences where they're very visual, really seeing a lot of things. And there's something to do with the channel that goes, the central column, the central channel of that clearing as well and expanding. Um, and I feel on another level, and I'm not sure about this is how I used to describe it, that you are connected to source, that the energy that you're bringing through is source energy, and you've got this connection. But then I'm like, but we always have that connection. So does it, I wonder, and I'm not asking you to necessarily answer this question, I'm just kind of mulling over it really. um I'm curious as to what actually happens there. Does it like almost like perforate the veil, our individual veil? But all these are kind of like metaphors. Nothing is quite, I haven't quite got to grips with the full science behind it. I just know I can channel energy afterwards that I couldn't before. And that's been my experience of teaching Reiki and doing attunements, that everybody gets opened up as a channel. But you don't necessarily need a Reiki attunement for that to happen. But even if you are, it will still get more, so that you're bringing more energy down and quite possibly a higher frequency of energy. So it's not an effort to bring the energy through, it's instantaneous and it's happening all the time. Um, yeah, any leads on that?
So for me, because I received all the attunements. I got them all, and then I actually became a Reiki teacher. And the idea behind that was because I wanted to give my mom an attunement. That's the only reason why I went into it. That's the only why I did it. But when I look back at my journey into it, I feel like, and because I also became a massage therapist, so I got to understand the body as well. I feel like we always do have that connection, but what it does is it helps clear the central column. It helps clear kind of the connection a little bit. It expands it, I think, so it allows more light to come in.
Mm-hmm.
And the attunement process itself, because I would always tell my students, it's like there's a 21-day process of clearing out, and with each attunement that you receive, it affects different ways. But I feel like it's a physical, like, especially with the first one, it was pretty, I did have some, everything was a lot brighter for sure. Everything was way more vivid. I felt a lot more at peace. But I felt like it was clearing all the stuff that was kind of blocking me, that I had placed on myself.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was almost like lifting the veil of my own beliefs, like, because it's always there, but all of a sudden it was like, lifting this thing. It's like, oh, wait a minute, you mean it's always been there? And wait, hold on a second, and I think that's, for me, that's what it did, was it made me realize that I just didn't know it was there because I wasn't paying attention to it. I didn't know it was there, and I didn't, I didn't know I could get to that point. And then the attunement opened me up to knowing, oh no, it's right there. I can connect to it right there. I have this ability. And so I feel like the attunement process is almost like for me, was like a ceremonial of a believe, you are connected to this. Take, take off the veil and see, so it was almost like this lifting of the veil for me. And as I've gotten more into doing, because I'm actually coming up with my own attunement right now. It's in the works. I've done it on a few people. And I feel like I've worked on people that have already had attunements. And it's interesting because I feel like it's more about fine tuning, like taking like your antenna or your thing and just being able to expand the band.
Yeah.
Because, for me, it was like, I was tuned into this one station, and then I got, the attunement, and I tuned into another one while still being able tuned into the first one. And then it kind of widened. And I feel like that's all they really, like, for me, that's all it really was just widening the band of frequency. But then the cleansing, the attunement process itself was just cleaning, like, kind of, I guess, cleaning out myself so I could embody more light, so I could bring in more light. It was helping balance my brain so I could, release what was no longer serving, so that way I could bring in what I needed to bring in. And that's kind of how I feel that the attunement process really is. It's a lifting of the veil of of your beliefs that you've been carrying around, and it's a widening of your band, so you can tune into more frequencies, more stations. That's kind of what it feels like.
What dropped in when you were speaking as well, it's like returning us to our natural way of being.
Mm-hmm.
It's like taking some of that distortion out. Like, I used to see it as the Reiki symbols acting as keys, and I'd get this, like, almost like this sound that those keys go in and just open up things that had been just, a little bit closed. And my Reiki master Jacqueline used to say, it's like tuning you in. It's like when your radio's not tuned in fully to a signal, you can pick up a signal, but it's not very clear. So it's like tuning you in to a particular frequency of energy, which I think it is. But as you say, you can get tuned into more than one frequency of energy. And each time you have an attunement, it can tune you into like a different frequency, but with all those there already. So you're right. It's like opening up the bandwidth more.
Yeah. Well, and then the symbols themselves, because of my own writing of light language, right? And my I've noticed, I'm like, oh, I remember when I began to make that, I was like, well, so the Reiki symbols versus light language symbols, and I was like,
the same.
And that's why even when I began doing Reiki, I would, draw symbols in the air and stuff, and my Reiki teacher would, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm drawing symbols. Well, are you drawing Reiki symbols? I'm like, no, but yes, I don't know, and that's actually kind of when light language started coming through. And I think I had told you, I had gone to one of my teachers and was like, this weird hissing language sound wants to come out of my mouth, and I don't know what it is, but I feel like I could talk to serpents with it. And she was like, that's bad. We need to do a cleansing on you. I was like, oh, okay, you know. And so I think that's kind of like, my introduction to, to light language. I mean, I had been dreaming in other languages for a long time, but that was like this, I see the Reiki journey was to get to this point, to be able to do this. But, I think Reiki is a door opener for a lot of people. And, and I know some people look down on it. I've heard recently in the last year, people are like, oh, Reiki's a joke and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, you know what? That joke helped me get here. So, I appreciate it for what it is. Absolutely appreciate it. And I just think that Reiki is just one step, and as you get further into the journey, there are things that you find that, just kind of, keep going, and it keeps evolving and expanding. And I think that it's kind of necessary. Everybody needs a door opener, to be introduced to something, to realize that they have that gift or realize that it's within them. Everybody needs that, so I think it was a very important, necessary part of my journey. I don't know how you feel about yours. I'm sure you feel the same. I mean, it's I think it's important.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing. I don't even know if I would be here on the planet, because my life force, when I learned it, was at such a low ebb. So it was really life-changing for me. And every attunement, it really sped up my ascension. It sped up my growth,
Yeah.
And I remember someone in Australia saying it's an old energy. And I'm like, it's source energy. It can't be. I don't understand that. Like, it's not an old, you're not connecting to the same energy that Mrs. Takata found in the 80s. It's kind of like, we're here, we're now, we're connecting to that energy. And I've always encouraged people when I taught them, which maybe wasn't quite the traditional way, to use their intuition. And if you feel to do something different, then go with it, because there's a reason why you're being guided in that way. So for me, it's about not being too rigid with things. And very similar, like when I first stepped foot on Byron Bay soil and started doing Reiki there, something different started coming in, and I was doing these different things with my hands, like you were. And I was like, oh, what is this? I don't know. I think these are new Reiki symbols. I'm not sure. But it was only relatively recently that I kind of realized what all that was, and that it was different. It was it's like the universe had given me an attunement to a different frequency of energy that I was bringing through. And I suspect that's the same with you as well, with this new stream of Reiki that you're bringing through too. Yeah. And genius of the universe to put me in a backpackers, where everybody then traveled from that spot, because anyone who receives that energy is anchoring that energy in with every footstep that they take on the earth. So that new energy was then being anchored in all over the planet. And that explains why I was there for so many years, for 12 years, because I'd try and leave, but always get pulled back to it. And it wasn't until enough of that energy was anchored in, it's like, okay, you can go now. Your job doing that's done.
Yeah.
And it's a really beautiful thing. Like, to receive a Reiki attunement is a really, really beautiful ceremonial thing. Like, yeah, I think it's amazing.
Well, so the last few, like I said, I've been, practicing this new attunement. I guess it's not new, but it's not traditional.
Yeah.
Is that because I used to want to do it when I would give Reiki attunements. I wanted to speak light language. And so what I've done the last few times is I don't stop it. I let my hands move. I do use some of the traditional Reiki symbols. But I let the writing of the code come in as I'm putting it into the crown. I also I've noticed I tend to go to the back of the head a lot when I'm doing this now. And I speak light language out loud. And when I go to the hands, the last time I did it, I actually started, I just let, like, you know, just like when I'm working with someone and doing a light language session, and whatever comes through is meant for them. So I've noticed in the attunement process, I'm allowing the same thing to happen. And for one of my friends, I was doing one on recently, I got to her hands, and it sounded like I was singing in Hebrew, like I was reading from the Torah. And I was like, whoa, in my mind, you know, I'm hearing myself go, whoa, what's this? What are we doing? We've never done this before, you know? And it was just like, just let it go. And I just let it go, you know? And I was kind of almost wishing, you know, I could have caught that on video just for myself, just to see like, what am I doing there, you know? But so this attunement process for me, giving these people, it feels even more personal, because I'm using their personal, drawing in personal code for them and speaking language personally for them. And I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to necessarily do this, you know, through online yet, because I have yet to do a distance attunement, right? So I'm getting there. It's going to take me a little bit to kind of, you know, figure that all out. But yeah, I mean, I really, I love that my process of giving attunements has shifted and changed, and it's become far more personal. And definitely, I can't wait to really start sharing that process with others. I'm going to let it unfold. I don't know exactly how it all looks just yet, but I'm going to let it unfold. And so far, I feel like I'm on the right track, and I'm just going to keep going with it. But yeah, I love this. I love this stuff. I just love all the fun and the experimentation, and see what works and what doesn't work. And I love the fact that I found light language. I mean, it's opened me up in ways that I never dreamed of, and it made me whole. And that's really truthfully, you know, how I feel about it, is coming into this, you know, new frequency of energy for me, allowed me to step into my truest self and be empowered, completely empowered, and not in an ego way, in a very amazing self-love way. And it helped me call back in all the parts of myself, you know. And yeah, I'm so grateful to, even though I don't speak to, you know, my first Reiki teacher anymore, because we parted for, you know, having differences, but she helped me in on this journey. She's just as, you know what I mean, like all the people that were with me on that journey, I'm so grateful to every single one of them, whether they were helpful or not so helpful at the time. But they, you know, I look back on it all, and it's been, and I mean, look at, we connected because it's like, when you look at stuff like that, you're like, oh, this is how it all works. You know, this is the importance of the journey. And yeah, I just love it.
I've been doing attunements online, so if there's anything I can help with,
Yes.
I feel there might be something to share on that, because it did feel like there was a different crystal light is the name that dropped in for it. I felt that it was very crystalline frequency. So, and I wasn't sure whether to include the name Reiki, and I'm still not. But the attunement kind of includes some of the traditional attunement that was brought in by William Rand. So it's not the original traditional attunement, but it's been used by him and that lineage for a long, long time. And it first started happening with a dear friend in London when I was still living in Australia, but here on holiday. And I was doing her master attunement, and all this stuff wanted to come through. And I thought, I can't not let this through. I can't hold back on this and just rigidly do it the way that I've been taught, because something else wants to come in. So it kind of, the attunement process started from that point, but same, I don't think it's always the same. So I've had this thing of, well, how can I teach other people to do the attunements? But maybe that's not what it's about. It's actually just bringing in this different frequency now.
Yeah, I was wondering myself, I'm like, okay, so I don't know if I can teach this, but I can give it to people. So I'm trying to just like I figure if I'm meant to actually teach it and it will come through.
Yeah,
But for now, I figure I'll just, yeah, because I mean, how do you teach something that is more individual and
yeah,
intuitive? Like you're not actually drawing specific symbols, and like, when I'm moving my hands, I can't, unless I'm writing it out, I can't tell you exactly
yeah,
what symbols I'm using,
yeah,
so it's been kind of my challenge as well. It's like, okay, what's this look like?
yeah,
But it's cool that you're doing the same thing, and that I think that more of us that are being called to do that, and I think it's going to change everything. Not, obviously Reiki is still going to be Reiki, but I think that it's gonna, this whole new wave of attunements is
yeah.
going to come in, and that's what I really feel like, you know we're a part of that movement,
Mm.
you know what I mean? And I'm really hoping that other people will start doing that too, because I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be, for the last few months, I feel like there's going to be a huge shift for healers and for people that are involved in doing energy work and stuff. And I've been feeling it, like something new is about to come in. And I don't know exactly what it is, but I feel like it's no longer going to be the same thing that's been passed down, passed down, passed down. It's going to be something completely different, and I think that it's needed. It's yeah, I think we're finally in a space where I mean, I think people are ready for something bigger or new or something different. You know what I mean? And I mean, and I'm no, dig on and Reiki at all. Absolutely. Like, please look into that if you haven't. That's just the opening road. But I just feel like there's just going to be this big shift. And I'm really excited for what's going to come over the next couple of years for everybody that's involved in doing this work,
Mm.
whether they're working collectively or with individuals or with groups,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see what's going to happen for sure.
And our natural way of being is to be able to bring this energy through and, work with injured animals, work with the butterflies that we find that have got injured wings or whatever. Like it's our natural way of being. And it feels like what we're doing is putting us back to that so that it's not an
Yeah.
effort to bring it through. You don't have to try, you don't have to consciously connect to source or whatever to bring the energy through, but it's just part of our being.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm definitely going to have to get you back on because I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of what we wanted to do. What would you prefer to do to show some of your artwork or to share some light
I could certainly.
language?
Well, I can share a few pieces of my art. And it's interesting because most recently with my Ankh piece that I did. And so that's actually the second piece I've done. I have two, I have one. I had a lot. I've never had so many people in my life share
Wow.
this particular piece. I just put these out there and I don't expect anything from them. So I can share that. And I actually was going to do, thinking about doing kind of a somewhat of an activation for this piece eventually. And I normally don't, I've only done that with one piece of my work, which was the union piece. I don't typically do activations because really, I don't know. I just haven't really been drawn to do a whole lot of activations around a specific piece. But this one I definitely felt called to do. So, and I do have the ones I have up, we can look at either the Ankh, we could look at the Phoenix. I also have Reveal Thyself, which is the Christ consciousness one. And then I have the Divine Mother up. And then I also have the most recent one I did, which is the Heart of Grace
Oh,
too.
wow.
So we can look at any of those.
I like all of
And
them.
Yeah, let's see. And now to share a screen. How do I share a screen?
Should be the green button down at the bottom.
Okay, I don't know if anyone, okay, wait, see, it says share. Let's see. Let's see if I can share. I don't know. Am I sharing? Am I sharing? I think I'm sharing.
Remain grateful, give gratitude every day.
Yeah, that's my little sticky note. I love Post-its. Okay, so we'll take a look at, let's see. Take a look at, so here is, oops. Oh no, come on. Oh, come on, move. There we go. So here is the most recent one. This is the ancient technology. And this is actually based on...
that hasn't changed yet. We've still got your Post-it up, by the way.
Oh, it hasn't changed yet?
No.
Okay, wait, hold on. I don't know how to do this. Let's see. Cancel. Sorry, guys. Okay, wait. Is it not sharing the whole?
No,
I don't know how to share it.
All we've got is the make a note of it thing.
Oh, come on. Hold on. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Here we go. Share. Here we
Yay,
go.
there we go. Oh, wow.
Had to realize. Had to figure that one out. Okay, so here we go. Here's the ancient technology. So this piece, I originally did one last year in March, and this is kind of a more evolved, expanded version of it. This was an experience that I had 3 years ago during a nap of all things. And I traveled and I literally closed my eyes, opened them up somewhere else. And there I was standing in front, watching, standing in front of, near a crowd and seeing this man up on this platform with a staff and an ankh and on top of it. And there was a stargate behind him, and there was a huge, pyramid, and the pyramid was gleaming white, and it had a gold top. And I was like, "Where the heck am I?" And I had to try not to, because a lot of times when I travel like that, if I get too freaked out, I'll snap back into wherever I'm at. And so, this was based on the technology of it, which is what it was used for, how the energy from the staff came up. And then energy from the cosmos came down, and all the connectors that are out there, all drawing in energy, pushing out energy. And when he stomped it on the ground, I remember seeing the copper staff and seeing the wiring go up, and it made like a kinetic energy with the ground, and this giant beam like thing formed in the middle, and a beam came out. And he was able to basically stop anything. I mean, this thing was capable of all these amazing things. Like I was like, what? That's the ankh. Why do you have an ankh on your staff? That was my question. And so I heard, I was being told like what it did. It could give life. It could take life. It could float things. It could help. It did something with gravity. I mean, it just did all these things. So this is that. Now 3 years after that, I have more. I was able to put another piece out explaining in more clear kind of detail and light language what that was. So that's that one.
And is that spinning?
So yeah, so it's not spinning, but the energy is coming out, and there was the top part, energy coming down, energy coming in, energy coming out. People have said they feel like it's spinning. I didn't see it spin on the staff. I only saw it vibrating and pulling in and pushing out energy.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Okay, so, and do you want to look at another piece?
Yes, please.
Okay, we'll look at, let's see if I can do this. okay, so we'll share. We'll share the Divine Mother piece.
Oh, wow.
Here's the Divine Mother piece that I did. So she was kind of the beginning of doing this artwork like this, taking subject matter and doing code around it. And you could see the date 12/24/19. And so when I did these are all drawings. These are actual drawings, not digital. Everybody thought I was doing digital. This is all done by hand. And I didn't have a scanner at the time. I had just my camera. So I took a picture of it and I inversed the image through a photo app that I had.
Yeah.
But so this piece, you know, people have asked me questions like, well, why is this there and why is that there? And honestly, when I do these, I just see the vision, I see the code, I know it needs to come forth, and it's all intuitive, and I just kind of place things where they need to be placed. And I tell people, you know, it's more about when you first look at this, what do you think? What, you know, trying to get people to really tap into their own, like what message, like what do you feel from this when you see this? It's like going to an art gallery and looking at art. You don't ask the artist to explain to you what the piece means. So it's, you know, it's more about, well, what's your interpretation of it for yourself? And this is where, so it's like, if you look at this and you get triggered by it, then you're triggered by it. If you look at this and see peace, then you see peace. If you see, you know, Mary Magdalene, or you see Mother Mary, or, you know, whoever it is that you're seeing, that's your interpretation. And a lot of people ask me about the you know, the thing that she's holding with the wings and the two serpents and all that stuff. And I knew that the two snakes were kind of representing more of the two sides of ourselves and the Kundalini energy. And the wings and everything, like, was more because I know that a lot of that particular image is also associated with like healing or medicinal stuff. But I kind of felt like it was more about having wings of freedom. But like I said, like I have how I see it, but I want people to look at this and get what they like, you know, feel what they feel from it. So, okay. And so then I'll show Reveal Thyself, which is the Christ consciousness one. Let's see. And of course, you know, everybody, you know, I use the image of, you know, I guess of Yeshua, but it's more about masculine energy to me. It's not so much about Yeshua, but it does have that energy to it. This is just what came forward for me when I was creating this piece, when this code came in. Lots of people have asked me why I used the Sri Yantra. I was just intuitively doing it. When you look at it, there's a lot of Merkaba energy going on in there, a lot of opening stuff, plus geometry. I just love geometry, sacred geometry. And, you know, I did this one shortly after I had done the Divine Mother piece. And I've had lots of questions about this one as well. And this is another hand-drawn one. And so all of these are hanging actually behind me and in my room. And when I do these codes, they start out kind of in my field, they come in, and it takes me a while to actually, because I have to start kind of gathering like what it's going to look like, what images do I need, like what, you know, kind of like, what do I need to have my inspiration to finally put down on paper what it is I'm going to draw. And so, and then in the process, as I'm drawing it out, and it's like I'll have tons of sketches, you know, just going through it, I begin to embody the code. It begins to make its way into my body. And then when I finally get my outline, I actually have an outline, and then I put my paper over it, and then I, you know, trace my own outline, and then I know exactly where all the writing needs to go. And so that's kind of how, and it's all done through automatic writing. And then the Phoenix, oops, let's see. Can we share this? Okay. Share. Okay.
Wow.
And so, yeah, so this is the Phoenix piece that I did. So over the summertime, we had huge fires in my hometown, and I didn't know that, that the fires were actually happening when I started this piece, but I found it was very interesting that, half of our county literally burned to the ground. And so, which was, this very Phoenix energy for me. But so when I created this piece, it was a huge embodiment process for me to embody the Phoenix energy. I have gone through Phoenix like times in my life, many of them. So this was kind of the energy of the Phoenix, but also my own embodiment, my own Phoenix moment as well. And after I did this piece, that's when I was like, okay, it's time to move. It's time to leave my hometown.
Wow.
And I left. And then, so that's, I will share, what else do I have? I will share one more. I can either share the most recent one I did, or I can share Kuan Yin. I have quite a few. I can share the dragon, or
dragon.
I can share the union piece. You want the dragon?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, so I had my dragon egg, but I'll share my actual dragon here. So this is my dragon. In fact, it showed up the other night, or not last night, but the night before in my dreams. And this is a lorem.
Wow.
And a lorem's been with me for a really long time. And a lorem does have a partner. And sometimes they will show up together, but usually it's just a lorem. A lorem is neither female nor, it's not really male or female, but ancient and beautiful. And I've known a lorem since I was a kid. So
wow.
This is my dragon. And I wanted to share the energy when I did this code, share the energy of this dragon, because everybody has a dragon in them. So
yeah.
And everybody when they were a kid, had at least, one mythical creature that they carried with them. And I drew a lorem when I was in high school, a long time ago, and I still have that drawing somewhere. My mom has it actually. And but this is the light language version of a lorem. So yeah, and I normally don't. I've drawn dragons for other people, and I normally don't always get their names, because the names of them are kind of, people think it's very private. And it is very private, but at the same time, I knew I had to share the name and the energy of it. I felt like it was okay to do that. It was proper for me. So yeah.
Wow. Thank you. They are all so beautiful and so powerful.
Yeah, so all of these that I've shown you are, they're on the Fine Art America. I had quite a few of these on my Facebook, and I took a bunch of them down because I don't know, people were doing weird things with them, taking them and doing stuff. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know what people are doing with them. But so now people can view them either on my Fine Art America page, or they can actually, which I have a link for in my Facebook. I also do have a link to my Flickr account, which is my photography, because I used to do photography, and they're all there as well. So everybody can take a look at all the past pieces I've done.
Beautiful, thank you.
So, yeah. So I don't know how I get out. I don't know how I get out of this. How do I get out of this?
I think there should be something down, maybe down the bottom about about coming out of screen share there.
Oh, stop share. There we go. Okay.
I know it's only a tiny little bit on the big screen. You're like, where is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sorry that everyone had to see my remain grateful sticky for so long. Can't believe I did that. So yeah.
All good. It's a good reminder for the gratitude as well. Yeah, those are really, really incredible. And I love that you seem to be crossing slightly over to mainstream with them as well, which is amazing. And I feel that this is just the start of things becoming more mainstream, that light language, etc., will be a lot more mainstream, which is awesome. And I think it'll start in the way of artwork, which is incredible.
That was my goal, like kind of for myself with, with bringing light language out, was I wanted to create these art pieces that people could look at and then be like, wait, what am I looking at? Wait, hold on a second. What is that? What is, and it's like, because people get drawn in by the image.
Yeah.
Right. And then next thing they know, they're looking like, what is that squiggly stuff? And even if they don't understand it, it's like, it's still, for me, I wanted to really bring the two together. And I know other people that are kind of doing that as well. I know I'm not the only one to kind of do this. I just really love, being an artist all my life. I wanted to really incorporate light language and my art.
Yeah.
And this was how I chose to do it. This is what came to me. This is, and I want to inspire other people to do it, because that's what this is all about, is inspiration and being creative. And when we're being creative, we're in a really high frequency, and we're allowing ourselves to express, our most truest self. And so I really love all the people that are out there doing this code work. I mean, it's just amazing. And I really hope that, someone looks at this and goes, I want to do that too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do it. Because it's not only healing, like when I do it, it's not only healing for myself, and it's very powerful for myself, but I know that I'm also doing these pieces, for the collective. So it's a real, collective thing. And then I just put them out there, and then people get to decide how they want to take it or what they want to do with it, as far as like what messages they're receiving. So yeah, it's just another passion. Art's just another passion. And I found a way to combine them both. So
yay to that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure. We'll definitely have to speak again soon, and maybe do a little light language in that one as well, perhaps.
Yeah.
And we can talk sacred geometry. It's really interesting. I woke up with the feeling of, I wasn't sure if it was a Merkaba here or if it was more like, it was kind of triangle, but I don't think it actually was a Merkaba. I can't quite describe it. And I'd forgotten that you had your tattoo there.
Oh yeah.
And then today I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I had that kind of waking dream with that.
Yeah. I know. When I got this done, I knew my boss wasn't going to be very happy about it. So I actually kept for a long time. I kept a scarf around my neck. But my friend, one of my I call her my sister person. My friend Heather, who's a tattoo artist in Santa Cruz, she actually tattooed. I have one of my light language symbols that a symbol that came to me. She's tattooed me, most of me, actually, not all my arms and stuff, but like recently in the last few years. And I just love her work, and I trusted her so much to tattoo, this and, and my symbols and stuff like that on me. And she's another one who inspires me with art, because she's such an amazing artist. So yeah, this was a big jump. Everybody says it's the everlasting job stopper, but I don't know. It hasn't stopped me so far. So
there's another dear sister of mine, Hannah Wilson, who started the Keepers of the Codes page. She was the originator of that. She has something on her neck. And I think it's more, I could be wrong, Hannah, I'm sorry if it is wrong, but it could be more like that. So it's not quite a Merkaba, it's something similar. Um, do you know the Keepers of the Codes page?
I think so. I know I get invited to do a lot of groups. I am not one who, for whatever reason, I don't know, like I love seeing all the group posts, but I've never been one to really post. And I think I've seen Keepers of the Code. I know other people have asked me if I'm in it. And I think some of my work has been posted in the past in that group. But I'm not really sure.
Really big group.
Yeah.
I can't remember how many thousands, but it's a big group now.
Yeah. I'm kind of shy when it comes to like posting stuff in groups, you know, it's just like, I don't know. So that's why I'm just going to post it on my page and everybody can share it.
Oh,
so funny.
Thank you, everybody who's been with us. Everybody who will watch on the live. Thank you, Marion. It's been an absolute pleasure. It feels like we've been talking for 10 minutes.
I know. I don't even know how long we've been on here. And thank you for everyone for watching and sticking around for so long. It's been amazing. Thank you.
It has. It's been such fun.
Yeah.
And before we go, I'll just invite us all back to our heart space, bringing up our awareness back there. Just tuning in and loving your beautiful, beautiful hearts. And it may feel a little bit different at the end than it did at the beginning. It may not. It may feel the same. But I invite us all to leave this show with our awareness in our hearts. And if you feel throughout the day that you've stepped away from it, just breathe back into your heart, maybe placing one or both hands there, and breathe in love and breathe out love. And I will see you all next week with another edition of Love Speaks Love. And just to say as well, I will put a PayPal, I will stick my PayPal in the comments. This is a service that's from the heart, but if anybody feels to contribute, they are always really appreciated. Otherwise, just give us a bit of love, share the post, whatever you wish to do. And thank you all very much. And thank you, Marion.
Thank you.